Hello, hello, hello. My name is Saurabh, and I am live on a YouTube podcast. Allow me 10 seconds. Okay, hi. So my name is Saurabh, and this is where I live, and this is my background, and you can see a lot of shit behind me. So, what is the point of this conversation? It's 6:15 on a Thursday evening, and I'm live for to talk about something that I'm extremely passionate about, which is poker. Now, here's my thought. Some confessions before I start. So, A, I'm not a good poker player. B, I love the feeling of being on a poker table. C, I one of my dreams is that one of my dreams is that I wanted to be a professional poker player for the longest time, and what that means is that I would have loved to be so good that I get to travel the world, play poker with a lot of people, and then obviously live life from there on. So that's me and my interest in poker. And why this conversation is for two simple reasons. The other day, I got to play poker with some really interesting people in Bombay, and this is after like 3 6 months that I played poker, and I realized how much I missed being on a poker table with a lot of other interesting people. And I'll tell you what I love about poker and why I think most of us should put in the effort to learn poker as a game. Um, so A, when you're on a poker table, you are in a inherently competitive space. So now there are some people who play recreationally, and there are some people who play because they enjoy the game and they want to put in the effort to play there. So when you have other people playing competitively on a table with you, you actually get to see the best out of yourself. You're actually able to start imagining how would you react if you were put in a certain situation, and that's like a really important thing for me to do. In fact, one of the things that I really speak highly about is that you must play some sort of a sport, or you must travel, or you must find a ambiguous place before you judge who you're going to either live with, work with, fall in love with, get married to, and so on and so forth. So I say that anybody who you want to get into a long term kind of a relationship with, you must find a way to do a competitive conversation, because on the court, on the poker table, on the ambiguous travel, you get to know how those people react. So for example, let's say you're traveling to a new country and suddenly you lose your passport. Now, how would they react to the loss of the passport will tell you a lot about how they are as individuals, and that is something that A, would tell you if you're wanting to be with them or not. Are they similar to you or not, or are they the kinds who you will want to either kill or get married for the rest of your life? So that is what ambiguous situation does. Now on poker table, what happens is that, because you're playing with real money and with real people, and there's tons and tons of very interesting people talking about it, you actually get to see tons you get to see a lot of character for yourself and for other people. I'll give an example. So there was this hand I was playing, and clearly I had the best hand even on the flop. Now I don't want to get into the poker education here, but broadly the thought here is that I knew that I was not going to lose this hand. Now it was up to me, how do I extract the most amount of value from this hand from the other player? Like, how do I get him to put in more money in the pocket? How do I get him to be more committed to that conversation? How do I get him to be extremely uh, involved and invested in that particular hand? And funnily, for whatever reason, I was unable to do that. And I realized that, when I know that I'm winning, my entire body language changes. I'm a lot more confident. I'm a lot more uh, out there. I'm a lot more uh, uh, cocky, if I may use that word. Once that happens, so now that is a lesson for me, that, when I know that I've been dealt great hands, I need to be able to have a lot more uh, uh, Tehrav is the Hindi word. I do not know the English word. It's not coming to me. I need to have a lot more of patience to be able to mine the exact value of that conversation. That is one. Two, the other thing that happens, that is important to me, is on the poker table, is that typically what happens is that when you meet when you have a great hand, it's not just you, but other people are also able to see that you have a great hand, and they react accordingly. So for example, if I have a great hand on poker, and my entire body language changes into this cocky man, the people on the other side will also know what are the hands that I have, and they will be able to react to it in a certain manner and ensure that they know that I have a good hand, so they will not play against me. They will not put money in the pocket because of the fact that I am doing and I'm running in a certain level. So that's the second thing that I think is super interesting about poker. The third thing that I find interesting about poker is that you can see human behavior in action. So there is this gentleman on the table. He is super rich. I mean, I kid you not, the gentleman on the table is worth, I think, 5,000 crores, if not more. And this is the first time when I was playing poker with a person of that stature. And I could see that he didn't really care about money. मतलब वो 50,000 1 लाख रुपए ऐसे ही टेबल पे फेंक रहा है, which is obviously he can afford that kind of money, and that money is nothing for him. But every time he lost a hand, you could see that he was seething with anger, and it taught me a lot about that person. That A, maybe he doesn't want to lose at all. B, maybe he is somebody who's competitive. I mean, not losing competitive same. Maybe he's somebody who always wants to ensure that any loss that happens, even though he's a rich guy, is something that he doesn't tolerate. Maybe he wants to show off himself as a powerful person on a table because we're playing at his home. So that, right. So broadly, the entire thought here is that it taught me so much about that individual, and I know that I will not want to be in a competitive space with him. I don't want to debate with him. I do not want to argue with him. I don't want to be in a battle with him because I know that I'm not as confrontational as this person is. So that was something that I learned on the table. Then the next thing is that you realize how easy or tough is it for you to lose your cool. Like for example, on the table, I know somebody who I was playing with, and in like 5 minutes he lost like three big hands, and I realized that when he loses hand, he becomes aggressive and he starts getting lot more angry, lot more jittery, lot more loose in his conversations towards the world. So again, that told me that he is somebody who doesn't like to lose. Now I do not know what I'll do with this information, but that character flaw was revealed into me. So I can give multiple examples, but what happens is that when you play poker with somebody, you get to see character flaws and character outcomes as well. So what happens is that if I am equanimous about lose, like there was a guy on the table who had lost, I think, 3 4 big hands, and he was absolutely okay with that. He was calm about it, and he said, "It's a game. I can only control how much I play, and then once the cards are dealt, I do not know what to do about it." And then he was very okay with that. Now that's somebody that I will personally would love to be a friend with, because I like equanimous people. I like people who are not moved when shit happens to them. I love the idea of talking to people who are lot more a lot more okay with bad hands and bad beats. That was that. Then there was a person on the table who came in late, but he stayed till the end, and he ensured and said that he will not eat anything. I mean, I ate a lot of pizza on the table, but he said that he will not eat anything on the poker table because he was on a fitness journey. Now says a lot about him that he's here to enjoy, and his choice of enjoyment is a poker game, and he's not giving into the temptation of a great pizza on the table, diet coke and chai, and there was no alcohol and no cigarettes, thankfully. But he had chosen his sin, which is poker, and that taught me a lot about how this individual operates. Now again, it reveals an important part of the character of that individual. So that was interesting for me to do that as well. Okay, with this monologue, I think I am bored. I realize that I speak the best when there is somebody asking me a question, and then that question answer could take hours and hours of response. But I don't think I can do well with just me talking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a break, take a break as in end this live here, and practice a lot more in terms of how I speak and where I go when I speak. So till the time I do the next live, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this worked out well. There is one person who's logged in. Thank you, Chandani, I think, for being here. Okay, I think I'll end this. Awkward ends. Bye.